Okay, remember solutions are homogeneous mixtures. If I'm talking aqueous solutions, this means they're not cloudy at all. They're clear. Okay, if they're cloudy, we would call them a colloid. We'll worry about that term later. Right now, we're dealing with solutions. So they're going to have a solute dissolved in a solvent. So when you do your vocabulary for chapter 3, don't forget that's to do on Sunday night. You are going to need to know those terms, solute and solvent. And so we can measure the concentration in a number of ways. But that concentration is how much of that solute did I put into the solvent. Usually we have a solid dissolved into water or some other liquid, but not always. We could have two gases. We could have two liquids. We could have a gas dissolved in a liquid. So we could do it a lot of different ways. We use in chemistry molarity. You may have also heard parts per billion, molality, percent by mass, percent by volume. We'll talk about all of those next semester. Right now, we're going to stick with molarity because this is what you'll see in lab. So molarity is moles of solute divided by liters of solution. Now, this isn't liters of the water or the solvent. Often they're very close, especially if you have a dilute solution. But if you think about if you had a liter of water and then you added 400 grams of a solvent or a solute to that, probably the volume of the water would increase a little. But it's not additive. If I have 20 grams and 20 grams, I get 40 grams. Sometimes when I mix two things together, the volume goes down a little bit. Sometimes it goes up, but not as up by as much. Okay, so we can't really use that volume of just the water. We have to use the solution. The units for this are moles per liter, or sometimes we just use a capital M. So if you're in lab and you see a bottle that says this is 6M hydrochloric acid, that means it is 6 moles of HCl per liter of solution. All right, so we're going to work through an example problem here. If I dissolve 5.85 grams of sodium chloride in water, make 501 milliliters of solution, what is the concentration? And if I don't say molarity, assume molarity. What is the concentration of NaCl? Question. All right, so we have a formula here. And it tells us we're going to take the moles of the sodium chloride and divide it by the liters of the solution. But we don't have either of those units. We have grams and milliliters, which means we need to convert them. Now, remember with significant figures, when we're converting within the metric system, we're not going to change around sig figs because of that. And every time we do per, it means per one with infinite sig figs. Okay, so let's take a look at our grams. 5.85 grams of NaCl. And we need to multiply by our train ticket to get us from the Grand Mountains over to Mole Station. So 2 goes on top, we're going 2 moles. From goes on the bottom, we're going from grams. Keep the label of your chemical, grams of NaCl. All right, looks like we are out of time here. So I'm going to just put down 58.44, the molar mass of NaCl, and we will finish up this calculation on Monday. Have a good weekend. Do read chapter sections 3 and 4. Do your vote if you haven't. And I will see you Monday.